Hey everyone, this is Cam. I uploaded my 3 weeks video today, but I wanted to talk about something else a bit more specific. As many of you probably know, I did come out to my coordinator, which went pretty well, but we basically came to kind of a point of where, like, plan A was basically for me to just continue my medical transition and not transition socially. So basically to, like, stay in the closet for the rest of my time here. And I've been thinking a lot about that after I told her more about social transition and the importance of it to me. She realized that plan A was probably not a very good idea. So we've been kind of at a point where it's like, okay, well, we just need to keep brainstorming. And I have no idea what to do. Obviously being able to stay on T is great, but, you know, having to go through the next 6 months, one, pretending to be female sucks. Two, lying when somebody asks me if I'm male or female and saying that I'm female, because that point will be reached for sure within the next 6 months. Because, I mean, that's something that I already experience. I've been experiencing that for years. That's going to suck. And, but, you know, I'm not really sure, like, you know, like, my options are basically either come out, which was what I initially figured would immediately happen, or not come out, which is what plan A was. We're trying to come up with a new plan that's neither of those things, and I don't know what. I mean, I can't think of any option that lies between those two. And so I have no idea, like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So I've been thinking really hard about that. I haven't met with her again about this issue, because I don't really know what else to suggest. I'm at a complete loss. I mean, I could just, you know, try to stick it out. It's just another 6 months, right? But again, like, it will reach the point where it's going to be really, really hard for me to hide it, or it's also going to be a situation of the fact that I have to hide it. I have to hide my medication. I have to hide, you know, I do plan on getting a binder and, like, an STP packer and all of these things. I'm going to have to hide these things. Like, I'm going to have to explain them if somebody comes across them. Come up with some lie to explain it, which, I mean, I'm not really into lying. You know, and, like, I'm sure that the people who I would work with are going to notice. You know, obviously the people, like, I'm going to be working, like, basically part of the job is all working pretty much daily with people that I've never met in my life. They won't know anything, like, they won't know anything at all, because they will have never met me, most likely. But, you know, people who have known me will probably notice. And, you know, only, like, and additionally, like, something that's really important to me is that having to live this way makes my experience in Japan completely inauthentic, which is kind of what it's been up until this point, because I'm being placed in this role in Japan, which is very specific. Like, not that there's not any, like, blurring of gender norms here, but it's completely different, because, like, the norms and the roles and the traits or characteristics that are associated with each gender are somewhat different. And, like, obviously as a foreigner, I get a bit of a pass on that, but I don't get that much of a pass. I work in a Japanese company. I live with Japanese families. I am with Japanese people day in and day out. I already don't have any friends, and to be able to become part of any group here and not just be, like, part of, like, it, you know, it's called, like, uchi is being in the in group, and soto, and, like, to not constantly be an outsider, which I already am by default. I have to be able to find some way in, and part of that is being Japanese. Like, you get a lot of praise for seeming Japanese. People accept you better. People accept you more. And I mean, like, I'm never going to be able to seem like a Japanese girl. Ever. Even if I were a girl, I couldn't be a Japanese girl. Or what a Japanese girl is expected to be. And I mean, like, there's so many things that come into it. There's language, there's of course like different interests and different mannerisms and what I like to do, who I like to spend time with. All of these things are going to be factors in, you know, my relationships with people, which, like, it's just going to make it tough. And, you know, being in an office that's all male, like, if I come out and manage to keep my job and go to that office, I don't expect any of them to accept me, but I definitely don't want to be treated the way they would most likely treat a woman, which is probably what's going to happen to me, which is just going to make every day that much worse. Obviously I can't come out to my host family because they probably won't want me in their house, so it's not like there's any point during the day in which I'd be able to get any respite whatsoever. I don't have any friends, and even if I did, I wouldn't have any time to socialize, because this job basically is something that you live and breathe 24/7 in an incredibly unhealthy way. So yeah, I don't know what to do. You know, my coordinator, like, they've kind of been holding on to the whole idea of, oh yeah, you know, the changes are going to be really slow, but, you know, I mean, like, you know, I talked to Lex today, and she was like, oh, your voice is dropping. And I'm like, oh, really? Well, you know, like, maybe people who are talking to me every day can't notice, but, and, you know, people who've never met me will never know any better, but, you know, that just means that other changes that people will notice are that much closer to happening. So yeah, long story short, I'm in this situation, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to suggest. I don't know what to say. I would appreciate any advice or, you know, comments or input, anything, ideas, you know. I value what all of you have to say. So, yeah, please bestow me with some words of wisdom to get me through the rest of my time here, however long that's going to be. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for sticking around, despite the fact that I'm not really around that much with my lack of internet and all. Thanks to all my new subscribers. And I will, you know, do my best to go through, check everybody's channels who I'm not subscribed to. And, you know, thanks to y'all who have been here more or less from the beginning. So, yeah, I'll try to think of some other things to speak about a bit more comprehensively. I feel like this kind of just turned into a little bit of a rant. But, I don't know. I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted all the time. And just kind of miserable right now, so I can't think. So, yeah, I will update for my 1 month, which is coming up in a few days. So, I will update again next week for sure. In the meantime, again, I thank you for your support. I thank you for watching, and take care.